Hey there, Aries. Welcome to your reading for mid-March 2025. You start with this card that says Surrender to the Divine, and you also have this card that says Work Through Your Fears. I'm laughing because a lot of people have been getting this like work through your fears thing. So clearly, I think mostly the crazy energy that we've been having has maybe brought up some old fears for people, or mostly in the area of life where like things have not been working, or things have not been working as well as you would like them to. That could be where these fears could be coming up. Now we have two love cards here, but I also feel that this could be in regards to your finances as well. So you're going to have to, take it how it resonates, basically. But I feel that we really have to work through those fears. The thing is that the last time we had this set of eclipses was 19 years ago, 2006. We had the same set of eclipses. And so you might be experiencing something like a fear can come up from that time, however old you were, right? And so a fear can come up, and your job is to realize that like the same thing isn't going to happen, but again, I'm kind of speaking in the past here because you're probably already over it, because today is the 16th, so we're kind of past it. But you're going to have to think about that fear and think about like, what was it trying to teach you, or what was it trying to get you to overcome? Was it trying to get you to overcome some sort of limitation? Is it the fear of abandonment with this love card? Is it the fear of not being able to take care of yourself financially? The list goes on and on there. But just based off your reading, Aries, the reason I'm spending time on this is because it definitely, just based off this reading, it looks like overcoming that fear is going to lead to really good results. So I would. You have the Lovers, the Page of Wands, and the Nine of Wands. Definitely could be love coming in for you. It's kind of weird that I think in your last reading you had a bunch of love cards as well. And you have Venus retrograde. Venus went retrograde in your sign, and it's going to be retrograding into Pisces. Now, I always say that, I think that really Venus retrograde can bring in a destined love connection. That doesn't mean you're going to like jump right into it today, right? And, I always tell people like, I think the retrograde rules are meant to be broken. I think they're a little bit ridiculous anyway. I've met plenty of people that, have started things during retrogrades that they still do. And, people that have gotten married under Venus retrogrades, I've known that have been married forever, happily married as well. So, again, I think that the retrograde rules are different depending on where it's falling. And for you, it's in your first house. But, what I would say is that, of course, don't rush. But there definitely could be a new love connection coming in for you based off this reading. I would definitely say it's something new. It feels a little adventurous to me because you have the Page of Wands. So, it could be like an adventurous person. But it feels like the whole thing feels like an adventure to me. So, again, if you're meeting a person, the whole person, the whole situation could be very adventurous. Like I said, take your time. You have the Nine of Wands. Set appropriate boundaries. And retrograde or not, you'll be perfectly fine. I always say if you really honestly look at your chart, you will always find a reason not to do something. So again, if we really followed the rules of astrology, we would live wrapped in bubble wrap in a bubble, and we probably wouldn't even breathe as well, because the astrology probably says that. So, again, I think the rules are meant to be broken. Just take your time. Be slow about it and don't rush into anything. I also feel that just in general, adventurous energy is going to be good for you. This is probably going to come up for all three fire signs. But we go straight over to the World here, and the World is showing up in the good stuff. So Page of Wands is adventurous. He just is excited about a new adventure. He's very kind of, he follows his enthusiasm, and I think that would be a great thing for you, Aries. You have the Nine of Wands. Again, as long as you set appropriate boundaries, you will be perfectly fine. Nine of Wands is also the card that says don't give up. I definitely feel there's something that you should not give up on. As I've been saying to you all 2024, Aries specifically is in a time of leveling up, but it's not necessarily going to be easy. As I always say, you're going to have to put the work in, but there is a great opportunity for Aries to level up their life in some way. It could be anything: business, work, money, spiritually, your health. It could be anything. But I would be, the Nine of Wands says experiment, basically, and wherever you want to level up in your life, that's where I would be experimenting, trying new things, learning as much as you can, all that other stuff, because the opportunity exists. With the lover, what do you know? With the lovers, you have the Nine of Wands. Number one, like, don't give up on love, is what the lovers with the Nine of Wands says. Number two, again, if you're meeting a person, just take your time. Don't rush into anything and just, see how things go. You have the Two of Pentacles here, or sorry, the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups is a card of just communicating. So, this could be something that just starts as communication. It doesn't really have to go anywhere. It could just be you talking to a person for now. And then in the future, it can turn into a relationship. You cannot make this up. With the Page of Wands, you have the lovers. I literally said that the whole thing feels adventurous to me. That it basically confirms it. And, whenever we have repeating cards like this, it really is confirmation for the reading. It just basically says, it's basically the universe saying I meant what I said. So, I feel for a lot of you, this is like, there's something adventurous about this connection. It like feels adventurous to me. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Sure, you could be going on adventures with this person, but I mean adventurous, like different, different than that. It's like maybe the person is different. Maybe the person it's adventurous because you've never dated this type of person or whatever. It's like, there's something extra going into this. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Sun. The Sun is about choosing happiness above all else. The Page of Wands goes on an adventure, and he doesn't have a good reason for going on his adventure. He just is excited about it. And that's really what the Sun says. Like, the Sun is a card, sure, it's, the best card in the tarot, can make the whole entire reading more positive, but the Sun is about, like, embracing ease. This baby here is carrying this big banner, and the banner is meant to look very heavy, but he is carrying it easily. And so, kind of like this is about following your bliss in a lot of ways. And I kind of feel the whole entire reading is saying that if you follow your bliss, then you will be very successful and things will go very well for you. And that's what I would do with the Sun card, is follow your bliss. Your bliss probably doesn't make sense. It never does. Let's see. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this entitlement card. It says, what do you believe that you deserve? Why do you believe you deserve benefits and privileges that you haven't earned or worked for? You have this financial freedom card. It says, when you are financially free, your lack of money no longer defines the limitations in your life. Yes, I feel a lot of you are like trying to level up, like I already said. I don't feel that you feel entitled at all. So, whatever. It's like maybe, I think we all feel entitled sometimes. So, not really a criticism, but there might be things where you're saying to yourself like, oh, like, I don't feel entitlement here. I'll tell you what I feel. Is I feel like you're working on things, projects, businesses, your career, whatever, and it's like maybe you are saying to yourself, X should equal Y, which I think everybody does. Everybody says, if I put this much work into my project, this is the result I should be receiving. But it's like you're not. Or maybe in the past you have not been getting Y, right? Maybe you've been getting like B, right, which is an earlier letter, and it's a lot less. So, that's like more of the feeling I get here. And I just feel, again, that the universe is trying to get Aries to focus on leveling up. So, there you go. You have the Two of Cups, the Five of Cups, and the Seven of Pentacles. Two of Cups is a perfect match. Two of Cups is usually very different than your usual type, and that's usually why it works very well, because, I think as humans, we all have a habit of picking a certain type of person, and that's usually why we end up having our relationships going the same way, is because we find a comfort zone in love, and then we just keep having the same experience. So, the Two of Cups is usually good. I feel this could be something that starts as communication, like I said, and, that's perfectly fine right now. And as a matter of fact, I would recommend it, and also I would take your time. So, like I said, I think if you're meeting a person right now, take your time. By the way, we are also in a very spiritual time, so, with Pisces 12th house and all that energy go in Pisces, Mercury and Venus retrograding eventually soon enough into Pisces, I would be really tapping into that intuition. Two of Cups is you and your higher self. So, and by the way, you have the Judgment card here. This is your higher self angel at the top of the Judgment card. So your higher self could be trying to get your attention, is what that Judgment card is saying. So signs, symbols, synchronicities, your dreams, your daydreams, your attention with the sun. The sun can try to get our attention on something. And what that feels like intuitively is that, if you're just like in the shower or driving down the road and you have a random thought that keeps popping into your head, that is your intuition being like, hey, this thing's important. You have the Five of Cups. Five of Cups can represent regrets and sadness. Now, like, again, I would never tell anyone what to do. I don't think tarot should tell people what to do, but I am getting a message here and I'm going to deliver it, so don't shoot the messenger here. But what I would say is, like, if love is coming in, I wouldn't necessarily ignore it, right? And again, not telling you what to do. If you don't want love, that's perfectly fine, but I just get the feeling here that, Five of Cups can say you're focusing too much on regrets from past connections when this connection could be very different. You might be saying to yourself, everybody is the same, but the Five of Cups kind of says, well, actually this could be different. 2 cups right here, 2 cups right here, and when he turns around, he gets this bridge in the castle. So it kind of just gives me the feelings of ignoring a connection that could be really good when you shouldn't. Again, not telling you what to do, but I'm just putting it out there. You have the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles says, is the juice worth the squeeze? He's looking at those 7 pentacles and he's saying, is it worth it to keep putting work into what I'm working on, or is there something better? And what do you know? We go up to the 8 of Cups and the Justice card, which Justice is weighing your options, cause and effect. So this, I feel, is more connected to the whole leveling up message. The 8 of Cups, this guy here is walking away from those 8 cups, and we'll talk more about it in a minute when we get there, but, he is walking away from something that does produce a result. So, it's not always easy to walk away from the 8 cups because, again, you usually are getting something from the 8 cups, right? But the whole point of the 8 of Cups is it's not right. It's, it would be settling to stay in that situation. With the 2 of Cups, you have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords can be a victory, success, big win. But also with the 2 of Cups, it would be communication. So, again, definitely could just be communicating with a person. Now, usually with the Ace of Swords, did I say 2 of Cups? I meant to say Ace of Swords. But usually with the Ace of Swords, we have to cut one thing out so we can have something better. This whole part right here of the reading, like all of this, it literally going down to the Page of Cups, like literally saying you have to cut past experiences out to get something new. So for those of you that want love, you might not be cutting a person out, but you might be cutting the feelings or thinking that everybody is the same or whatever out. With the 5 of Cups, you have the Queen of Cups. Yeah, really good time to follow your heart as well, which you always get these messages of following your heart, Aries. The Queen of Cups really values her heart and what her heart is telling her to do, which is kind of similar to following your bliss, right? It's like when you're following your desires, you kind of are following your heart, which I think would be good. She's also extremely intuitive, and again, you could be extremely intuitive right now. So I would be trusting and listening to those like higher self messages. With the 7 of Pentacles, you have the 6 of Swords. We kind of already know that there's a change here because of this right here. And also even, the Judgment card, which we'll talk about. So I feel a lot of you are moving on to calmer shores, and you could also just be leaving something in the past, which is probably a good thing. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Courage card and this Protection card. Yeah, you have the courage to change, right? And you are protected. There's nothing to worry about. You have the 9 of Wands twice. The 9 of Wands is the Wounded Warrior, but the 9 of Wands is also a card of boundaries. So it kind of says that you are protected from, anything, any challenges or any things that could pop up. You have the Judgment card, 8 of Cups, and the 9 of Pentacles. The Judgment card, these people are rising up out of these coffins. The coffin represents their old life. Outside the coffin represents their new life. And so they are being called into a new life. And clearly, the whole entire reading basically is saying that you are being called to level up, right? Their new life would be a level up in some way. It would be an improvement. They'd be leaving the past in the past, right? They wouldn't be living inside of a coffin like a freaking vampire, right? They would be out in the world. They would be getting out into the world, having fun, enjoying life, going on adventures, doing things that fulfill them, right? So I think the Judgment card plays very nicely with the entire reading, and it's saying you need to live life and enjoy it and have fun and all those other good things, and that's what I would do there. You have the 8 of Cups, which makes perfect sense. 8 of Cups is the only card that has an eclipse on it. So we just had that eclipse. Again, I do feel that some of you are kind of like walking away from something, Those 8 cups provide him with something, but he would be settling if he stayed in the situation. So he has to walk into darkness. He has no clue if he is going to find fulfillment. Some readers say he's walking towards the 9 of Cups, which could be true. But we don't actually know that. He definitely doesn't know it. He has no clue what he's walking towards. He just knows that if he stays in this situation, he is settling. And it's like sometimes I think that, one time I remember a while ago, someone said to me that they couldn't leave their situation, unless they won the lottery, right, or something like that. I don't remember what their situation was, but it's like I said to that person, it's like, what if the thing that is preventing you from winning the lottery is the fact that you aren't leaving the situation? That is the Eight of Cups, right? It's like sometimes I think people think like I can't leave this job or I can't do this thing until I have all these other things in place. But it's like, what if that's exactly why things are not falling into place? That is the tough question that the Eight of Cups kind of asks us. And I'm not saying it's easy either, right? And of course, I wouldn't recommend just leaving a job. I would definitely, if you're thinking about leaving a job, I would definitely have something lined up. But, the Eight of Cups is about taking those tough steps necessary to improve your life in some way. So like I said, I will never say that the Eight of Cups is easy, but I will always say that it's probably worth it to get started. You have the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles, of course, is a card of independence, gratitude, luxuries, pre-Empress energy. So very good card for you to be getting. I do feel like you are improving your kind of like independence and probably working on improving your finances. I have a feeling that there will be, bigger boosts once we get into like May. So if you are actively working to improve your finances, I would keep working on it, even if it doesn't look like they're improving. I always tell people during retrograde seasons, like we've been under these heavy retrogrades since November. We have not had a break, right? But the thing about retrogrades is like the work that you are doing during that time kind of like really hits after the retrogrades, right? So it's like, yeah, it's almost like pulling back an elastic band or a bow, like a bow and arrow, right? It's like it doesn't get released until after the retrograde, but it's always like worth it. So the farther you pull that band back, the more it's going to snap. And this is a snap that you definitely want right here, Aries. So, don't be afraid to work is kind of the message I'm getting there. With the Judgment card, you have the Five of Wands. Yeah, like I said, it's kind of a repeat message collectively right now that we all kind of have to face some sort of fear. In this case, this could be competition. With the Judgment card, it's like your higher self might be calling you to do something where there is competition or there is conflict that could potentially happen. If you're going to leave a job, it could cause a conflict. If you're going to, grow your business, there might be competition. If you're looking for love, there might be competition for the person that you are in love with. But, the Five of Wands, these people are learning how to fight. They're using sticks. They're not using swords. So, to me, this is always like a card of learning. And I feel that at the very least you're learning, but at the same time, I feel it's saying, don't be afraid of the competition. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Emperor. Really good. Whenever you show up as yourself, it kind of puts you in a position of power and strength and really allows you to get what you want from the reading, Aries. So I feel for a lot of you, it's just saying that you are showing up strong and in a good position. I also feel it's saying you are making the decision to not settle any longer, which of course is a good thing. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, with the Nine of Pentacles, we have to practice gratitude. Wheel of Fortune is a good card, can represent a change in your fortunes, but I think I think the Wheel of Fortune is good, but I think people make it out to be better than it is because Wheel of Fortune is an action. Like we have to do something to get that wheel to spin in our favor. And so with the Nine of Pentacles, I would definitely say focusing on what you want, number one, because the Nine of Pentacles is a card of focus. So maintaining your focus on the positive, but also practicing gratitude would be a good thing to get the wheel to get your fortunes to change is what I'm trying to spit out here. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have the Moth Spirit. Here you go. It says, appreciate where you are in your journey instead of wishing it were easier or different. Again, I really feel this like snap for Aries, which is different than everybody else. I think you've been, pulling that rubber band back, waiting for it to like snap, right? In a good way, not in a bad way. You have this Ultimate Fulfillment card. It says, you are now entering into a time of peace, happiness, and emotional fulfillment. So there you go. I like that. That's definitely very, very positive. We have the Sun, and the Sun pretty much represents all those things. There's a big sun on the card, so I feel that there is a lot of good happiness coming in for you. You have the Justice card, the World, and the Page of Cups. Justice is cause and effect. It just says, pay attention to what's working and what's not working. with justice. And, as long as we're putting energy into things that are working and we're stacking more stuff on that side of the scale, then our fortunes will probably turn in our favor. So I feel for a lot of you that could be happening. I also feel for a lot of you that, like, if you are involved in something legal, this could be justice, which is good. Next, you have the world. The world can represent an accomplishment or an achievement, which there definitely could be an accomplishment or an achievement coming in for you. The world kind of suggests that you're getting to the end of a long journey sometimes as well. With the major arcana, we go from the Fool to the world through the entire major arcana, and then we start all over again as a Fool. So this could say that you're getting to the end of a long cycle that you've been going through in your life, and I kind of do feel that. I don't normally say that with the world, but, I do feel that for you. On top of that, adventure, for sure, Page of Wands. The Page of Wands, like I said, he goes on adventures to find, fulfillment because he is excited by it. But, I've been saying to people a lot lately with the Page of Wands that, I think we're in a time that it's very illogical, especially with Neptune and Pisces. Neptune will be moving into Aries, your sign, but it is going to retrograde back into Pisces. And what I would say is that sometimes with Neptune and Pisces, we could be inspired to do something that doesn't necessarily make logical sense, but, maybe it would be an adventure. Maybe we would learn a lot from the experience. And so I've really been, as long as it's not going to financially cripple you, of course, then I've really been encouraging people to have those experiences, whatever it is. It could be anything. It could be to go on a date. It could be to travel somewhere. It could be to start learning about something. It could be anything. But, whatever it is, it could be very beneficial, and you probably won't realize it until the future. But, again, I would have those experiences. You have the Page of Cups, definitely new love coming in for some of you. I feel for some of you, you already know who this person is, you already have your eye on a person, or, vice versa, take how it resonates. But the Page of Cups is an admirer, and so there could be a person. This fish also can represent his dream, and you've been getting these readings about, a dream that you have for a very long time with me, Aries. So a lot of you could be working on, manifesting your dream or your dream life, and I think working on that would be good. With the Justice card, you have the Star card. You have the Sun and the Star. The Sun and the Star together is like fame and fortune. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to become famous, but it is very good for getting attention. And with Pluto and Aquarius, we are definitely in a time of attention. And so I think for a lot of you, you could be getting a lot of positive attention. I would make sure you're getting positive attention, and I would use it for something. With the World card, you have the Temperance card. Yeah, I feel sometimes the World, Temperance is saying things will never be perfect, right? And we are definitely in a time that says things will never be perfect, but we have to work with what we got. And I really get that feeling with Temperance in the World. Temperance is alchemy. It's turning one thing into another. It says, yeah, maybe you don't have everything you need, but, how can you, create the energy anyway? Or how can you work with what you got? And really, that's the message I get there. It's coming up in the good stuff, so I think that you can easily do it, is kind of what that's saying. With the Page of Cups, you have the Knight of Wands. You could be meeting a person on an adventure. Knight of Wands is very adventurous. And we have two love cards that are kind of connected to this, the Two of Cups and the Page of Cups. The Knight of Wands is also very spontaneous as well. So you could be meeting a very spontaneous person. And, Knight of Wands can be inconsistent, but this is showing up in the good stuff. So I would say you're probably just meeting someone on an adventure. We talked about it at the I was getting something about adventure at the beginning of the reading. Next, you have this Fox card. It says shrewdness and resourcefulness, especially in business. I feel that we all have to be shrewd and resourceful in every area of life. So I would just be shrewd and resourceful. You have this Grasshopper. It says situation in the balance that requires careful handling. Probably that Five of Cups. Again, like I said, I don't like to tell people what to do. I don't think tarot should tell people what to do. It is just loose guidance at best. As I always say, it's just energy that you can work with, right? And but I do feel that this would be something that you don't want to regret ignoring, right? Especially if you're attracting a person. I'm not saying you have to marry this person or commit to them, but what I am saying is it would be worth it to talk, right? Or it could be worth it to just kind of not attach too much to the outcome and just see how things go. I always say Page of Wands, he really practices non-attachment. He just says I'll just see how this goes. And I think everybody would be served to just, instead of like attaching so much to things, just saying like, I'm just going to see how this goes. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, I learned something, right? I think having that attitude could be very helpful. You have this horse card. It says short journey. Yes, we see a ton of travel here. So if you want to be traveling, who knows what you could discover. I really believe we're in a time where like the more open we are to experiences, the more knowledge we're cramming into our heads, which could be very helpful. You have this beetle. It says good fortune on it. Yeah, we see a lot of good fortunes. Star, sun, wheel of fortune, really good stuff. So definitely could be an increase in your fortunes. And you have this eagle. It says triumph over an obstacle. Didn't we say something about like the end of a tough cycle? Oh, I was talking about the world, right? So for a lot of you, sorry, it's trying to pick up my eyeball here. For a lot of you, it could be just, you kind of ending a difficult cycle. But this looks really good, Aries. I like where this is going. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.